I'm Jo. I'm a former ambitious girly that is trying to achieve her dreams by experimentation and reflections. And one of the experiments I wanted to try is to kind of document my reflections during my sabbatical. I took a sabbatical from my corporate job after being diagnosed with a chronic illness, and I was also trying to escape my 60 to 70 hour work week. And instead of, feeling finally happy on the first day of my sabbatical, I was feeling quite anxious, and I kind of realized that my grief was following me like a clingy cat that won't let you get out of the house. And I also know that the Aquarius in me likes to run away. I like to travel to different places, and one of the places that I chose to travel during sabbatical was Seoul. And I was hoping a new city could also make me forget my problems, become a new version of me, be that 2000s main character moment where, you're walking down the street and the background music's playing for you. Like it's your theme song. But of course, little did I realize that traveling to another city doesn't really turn you into a new person. It only amplifies the emotions that you have not processed. And when I was in Seoul, I felt the pressure to make the most of my days, and that there's this anxiety that I was carrying with me, and this is the same anxiety that I had when I was working, that I needed to be productive, I needed to be optimizing my life, and even if I'm taking a break, it feels like I need to maximize my break. I need to use it to my fullest. And no matter how many pretty cafes I visited in Seoul, it just cannot silence that ache I carried with me. I was not only escaping from myself, I was escaping my inner thoughts, hoping that a new country means a new version of me. And when I was in Seoul, it felt like I would still bring along feelings that I could no longer distract myself from. I was grieving quite a lot, and I was grieving the loss of my health, grieving the loss of maybe my colleague who passed away. I was grieving the loss that a place that I once called home, and it just stuck with me that time was slipping from my fingers, and no matter how much I tried to jam-pack my schedule, I could never keep up. And of course, my health ended up paying the consequences of this non-stop hustle culture, which I originally thought it was considered successful. You're grinding, you're doing it so much, but it was the beginning of my deterioration in my health. And I realized by the end of the week in Seoul, I was grieving an accumulation of everything I lost in a given year. And maybe that's why it hit the hardest when you finally have that space to breathe. No matter how far away I travel, I could never outrun my own pain and my own grief. And it taught me that maybe every loss needed to be felt, that there's always a space for it. And I gave that space and pause for myself to grieve in Seoul. And I never gave myself the space to process my latest diagnosis from the doctor, who said that you need medication if you want to stop feeling pain. You need this medication if you want to be able to move your arm. And it really showed me, or pushed me to the point of, it pushed me to my breaking point in my head. Even though I was at my lowest, I still felt like I wasn't doing enough. But the fact is that I had worked so much to the point my body is literally failing me. It could no longer move unless I took medication. And there was this tension I kept feeling in Seoul. Like, oh, I need to be happy, I need to do more, I need to travel more, I need to do more activities. At the same time, I was also kind of realizing I need to feel this loss that I have not processed, this feeling. And that optimization mindset was making me toggle between these two opposing emotion. One needing to optimize, the other is that, you need to feel what you've not let yourself feel the entire year. I think living in Seoul gave me a place to pause. Visiting, traveling, no matter which city you go to, I was hoping for new experiences, new memories, to let my nervous system know that it's okay to rest and reset. And that, instead of always bottling all these feelings into one part, compartmentalizing it, I realized that, you don't have to be defined by your grief. You are not your grief. Your grief is just a feeling that you can let flow through you. And I think the best part of traveling when you are grieving is that you kind of pause. You give it a space to pause and create new memories and experiences. When I see the beauty of Seoul, walking along Songyudo Park, or even the Jamsil Bridge on the Sunday with all the activities going on, I could see my grief pausing. It was like shoving an iPad to a wailing toddler, and then they're suddenly in awe of this new shiny thing, and they stop crying. That was me. It was in that moment I was grateful I was in Seoul, that I could still be in awe of the beauty of the city, and then also come back later, maybe the next morning, to let myself grieve. And maybe the question isn't like, why was I unhappy in Seoul? Or why can't I be 100% happy and pain-free during this break of mine? But it's also realizing that it's okay to enjoy and appreciate what you have now, in spite of the pain, that you need both to appreciate one another. That maybe as a human being, we are far stronger than we think, that we can hold space for both feelings concurrently. In moments of grief, in moments of happiness, I could still feel the losses, I could still grieve, I could feel sad, but I could also at the same time create new experiences in the new city to present a different version of myself or what is possible. And there can be both moments playing at the same time, or even one after the other. And I think being in Seoul taught me that you can move with your grief. You can travel with it, you can do Pilates with it, you can create new experiences even with your grief. It may no longer consume you, but it's there. It's part of it, that you can coexist with your grief. And I think I learned that I didn't abandon myself. I could have said, I'm not going to enjoy myself because I have this feeling of all the things that I've lost. Instead, I gave myself time to grieve during moments of quietness, moments of walking in the park, and then of course allowing myself to go on and take up activities after. You can still move forward even if grief followed you all the way to a different city. You do not have to get rid of it 100%. And we can never outrun or run away from all this feeling of loss or grief that stays with us sometimes. It can be a loss of a person, a loss of experience, a loss of opportunity. These are still part of your emotion, and that it is okay that we coexist with it. And maybe it is for us to recognize that grief was proof of all the times we had loved and hope.